Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a video about tips for studying law. Now, studying law is not something I can say I was a master at, but from trial and error and from exactly that, not being that good at it at first, but thankfully first year doesn't count usually, I kind of learned some tips and tricks. And now that I'm a graduate, I would like to share them with people so that people can do their best and like utilize their time and resources that are available to them best. I filmed a video about things that I wish I knew before I studied law in general, so if you want to see that video, it'll be linked down below and it's on my channel. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Now the first one might sound a little bit obvious, a little bit like duh, like we're supposed to do that, but it's to go to your lectures. And I know that like when you're first starting uni, you're fresh, you're excited for the whole thing and you're attending all your lectures, even your 9 a.m.s, but then it gets to like the midpoint, it starts getting darker outside. You come into lectures and it's bright, and you leave and it's dark, and it just feels like a drag. But trust me, going to your lectures is helpful, especially if your lecturer is actually a really good teacher and a really good lecturer. It is so helpful to go to your lectures. I know that everybody learns differently, but for me personally, I really like lectures, and the whole thing of online schooling is kind of throwing me in a loop a bit, but I really like lectures and physically being in a building because it's a place where you can go and you know that you're there to concentrate on something while you're there. And just like hearing someone speak while you're also taking the notes, I feel like you're getting stimulation from different ends, so you're actively like noting down the information and trying to get it down as quick as possible while you're listening to it. And I just feel like there's something a little bit more stimulating than seeing like a PowerPoint slide later on or something like that. And I feel like even with the online classes that we're gonna have, I know myself, I'll probably be having online classes. I think even with those, I feel like if your lectures aren't pre-recorded and you can watch them in real time, I'd recommend watching them in real time as opposed to watching them later on, unless you really have to. But I would really recommend watching them in real time so you get that kind of same stimulation, because watching them later on you can feel like yeah, I can just pause this, start it, you can get distracted, you can like just be there and there. So yeah, I would just recommend going to lectures because that will help you out a lot. Number 2, find the note-taking technique that works the best for you. Everybody learns in a different way. Some people are visual learners, some people are audio learners. Just find the best note-taking and learning way for you, because it will help you out so much if you know how best you learn. I personally I like to hear things and see them, so that's the best way I learn. And when it comes to note-taking, I personally prefer writing by hand rather than typing on a computer, because I just feel like something about having handwritten notes just makes information go in better for me. But then again, you can always like mix techniques and always like type your notes, because lecturers do speak pretty fast. Type your notes and later write them down in a neater way, and then, or if you're a more visual learner, like type your notes and then make a mind map of them later on. Like just do whatever you can do to study best. So find that whatever way you study best and find what way you learn and take in information best and utilize that and stick to that. Number 3, this might sound like an obvious thing, but not everyone does this, and I didn't do this in first year especially, but make your notes as you go along. Don't wait until it's exam week. Don't wait until it's final exam time. Make your notes as you go along, because it will make your life so much easier, especially with law where there's so much content and you're probably doing 4 modules at a time. You have so many cases to remember, everything. You do not want to be trying to cram and learn all of that content a week or 2 before your exam. Like if it'll make exam taking and everything so much more easy for you if you have notes that you can then condense into smaller notes. But I'll talk about that more later during exam season. So yeah, just make sure you're making your notes as you go along. It might feel a little bit tedious, but just make sure you have your notes. Number 4, this is more like you can give it a take it, but this is a method that I used a lot in university, which is like reading, highlighting, note taking, which is basically reading whatever it is, whether it's a textbook chapter, the journal article, or the case that you have to read, and highlighting as you go through and you're reading. As you're highlighting, just highlight the important parts, important dates, important case names, important rules of law, whatever it is. Highlight those as you go along, and then go back over it and take notes of those things that you've highlighted maybe, or any other things, because I feel like that method is really effective, because it does, you are kind of going over the material twice in a way, but it does help stick it in your mind. And if you're a person who handwrites, I feel like this will help you a lot. But if you're a person who types, this could be even quick for you, because you can just copy and paste or whatever if the thing is also online. So definitely that's just a method I would recommend when it comes to studying and like making notes. So give it a take. Number 5, go to revision workshops, lectures, whatever it is, because something I actually didn't mention in the first thing about going to your lectures and tutorials and seminars, and it's the same with revision lectures and tutorials and seminars, is that sometimes lecturers will kind of hint and drop little tidbits or drop little nuggets of information that are like really important to know when they're doing lectures or they're doing seminars or tutorials or whatever it is. And you want to be there and present, and you want to pick up on those and write them down and make a note of it. But if you don't go to your lectures, or you don't go to your tutorials, and you don't go to your revision lectures and tutorials and seminars, how will you know? And in revision lectures and tutorials especially, there's definitely opportunities where they might even mention stuff that's on the exam, or stuff that's not, like certain topics might not be on the exam, and you might have gone to all the trouble of studying a topic and then it doesn't come up on the exam, and you don't want that. And also you just want tips. Like, you don't want to be going into the exam blind. Like, you might think that going to a revision lecture is, yeah, that can't be me, I can't do that, I can't be bothered, but you'll totally regret that when everybody else kind of has more of an in than you, and you want that in. So I think, yeah, definitely go to revision lectures, go to things like that. They will be helpful. Number 6, do past papers, or at least just take a look at them. I should have done this more. Like, there's definitely a lot of times, it depends on the university, but there's generally a lot of patterns that repeat over years, topics that generally tend to always come up, things like that. And just familiarizing yourself with the layout of the exam and what you have to do. Like, is it a problem question first, then an essay question, or is it all essays, or is there a multiple choice somewhere in there? You want to be familiar with content before you're like diving headfirst into it. Yeah, I would just recommend to look at exam papers and try and do a few if you can, if you're not too busy. But if you've gone to all your lectures and seminars, if you've taken notes as the year gone on, if you're just condensing your notes into little sections during exam season, you'll probably have time to do exam papers. So it all kind of links together. Like, the more effectively you spend your time and learn, the more easy kind of things work out. And time management stuff leads me on to my next point. 7, and it's to set aside time and prioritize that time and stick to that time to do your work, to do your study, whatever it is. Like, it might seem so tedious in the moment, like, oh my god, I have to study this, oh my god, I have to learn this, oh my god, I have to do this or that, or whatever it is. But you will thank yourself once you've had that content studied, and then you have free time to do other stuff later on. And also, you're not worried and scared at the time when exams season rolls around, because you know you're prepared. So just save yourself that stress. The Netflix episode can wait. The K-drama you're watching can wait. Scrolling through Instagram can wait. But if you get your work done for your law degree, then you'll be the one laughing and smiling, watching Netflix and scrolling through Instagram, while everybody else is trying to cram 3 semesters worth of knowledge into 2 weeks. So just make sure you study effectively. And then, I didn't write this down, but I'd say an 8th point is that definitely ask questions. If you're having trouble with the content, I mentioned this in my things I wish I knew before I studied law video, and it's just like, if you're having trouble with things, make sure you tell people. If you feel like you need extra time on an assignment and it's because of like mental health or anything like that, see if your university has policies that help people when you have that. Like, I know Lancaster tended to have pretty decent things, especially when it came to mental health and stuff like that, to just kind of give you extra time to do things. And just talk to your lecturers for guidance with courseworks, with preparing exam questions. See if anyone will even read over things for you. They're not always able to, but see if it's possible. But yeah, just make sure you're not isolating yourself. Ask friends for help, ask other people for help, ask older students for help if you can. Just make sure you're getting the help. Don't say, oh, I'm just gonna suffer alone. Just make sure you get help, because everyone knows the law isn't the easiest subject to study. So just make sure you're getting help and constantly getting answers to things that you're confused about, and don't let it just fester and keep being confused about it. You get me? And yeah, that's all of the tips I have for now about studying law. I hope that you might find them helpful. I hope that they'll help you. I know that these are things that I wish I knew more before I studied law. Again, I guess this kind of ties to my last video again, but these are things I definitely wish I knew before I studied law, and tips that I will be taking with me into my master's, things that if I can, I'll take them into my LPC. And again, if you want more law related content about stuff like the LPC, applying for master's degrees, applying for things, career fairs, law firms, vacation scheme applications, that's kind of my life and everything that I'm going through right now. So if you want more information about that, just comment that down below and I'll be sure to try and make a video about it. And yeah, that's all I have for you today. If you like the video, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe so you can keep up to date with me. Check out my social media, and yeah, that's all. Bye guys.